Is Edward Teach the most feared pirate in the history of piracy? There are various historical accounts about this man, who some claim is a devil to look upon. He is feared not only for his mischievous actions or strategic attacks, but also for his appearance. Edward Teach, popularly known as Blackbeard, is a spirit that suddenly emerged at the peak of the so-called Golden Age of Piracy. Little is known about his childhood, and even history is skeptical of the day he was born. It appears that pirates hide their true identities to protect their family image, so Edward Teach or Thatch may not even be his real name. The majority of what we know about Blackbeard today comes from accounts written by various authors and on various documents. He is thought to have been born around 1680 and raised in Bristol. He could have been a privateer who joined the Spanish Succession War. After the war, most of the privateers, including Teach, left Jamaica to pursue piracy, eventually settling down in New Providence, the largest known pirate base. In 1716, Teach joined Captain Benjamin Hornigold's pirate crew at North Providence. A few months later, Hornigold put Teach in command of a sloop he had won as a prize. They sailed out to the mainland on sloops and captured ships carrying valuables such as wine and flour barrels. Teach's sloop was thought to have been fortified with 6 guns and 70 men. He obtained his first ship, Revenge, without the use of swords or throat-slitting. Revenge, along with 70 men, was given to Teach by a wealthy pirate named Stede Bonnet, who believed he was no longer capable of controlling his crew. Hornigold was a captain who only took his enemy's ships, and sometimes their lives. He never took interest in the other vessel laden with valuables, except it was that of his old enemy. This enraged his crew, who couldn't stand the sight of well-fortified vessels passing by without them doing nothing. They demoted Hornigold right away, and he later retired from piracy and left with his ship Ranger. Teach was appointed captain of the crew, and he designed the crew's flag, which was black and red with a skeleton head. Teach and his crew attacked a French merchant vessel off the coast of St. Vincent on November 28, 1717. This ship, La Concorde, was carrying slaves, which Teach was able to obtain after several hours of shooting. Fortunately, it was a strong ship, and Teach took over La Concorde and renamed her Queen Anne's Revenge. He handed over his first ship, Revenge, to his lieutenant and fortified his newly acquired ship with more than 40 guns, the equivalent of more than 4 well-equipped naval ships. Teach later acquired Great Allen, one of the largest and most heavily armed ships he had ever conquered. He did not, however, add this ship to his growing fleet. Instead, he burned and sank Great Allen. At this time, Teach was able to acquire a French ship of 32 guns, a brigantine of 10 guns, and a sloop of 12 guns, probably having up to 300 men under his control. Blackbeard was a terrifying figure. He was a tall pirate with broad shoulders and a very long beard. His beard was believed to have been braided in pigtails and woven with colored ribbons. He's dressed in knee-high boots and a black jacket, and he's armed to the teeth. He does all of this to terrify his enemies and captives, going as far as to light his beards. On the 5th, off the coast of Crab Island, Teach captured the merchant sloop Margaret and kept her captain, Henry Bostock, and his crew prisoners for about 8 hours. However, Henry was not killed or enslaved. Instead, he was returned to his base of operations on St. Christopher Island, where he reported his ordeal to Governor Walter Hamilton. During his time as a prisoner on Queen Anne's Revenge, he learned a lot from the majority of the crew. When he returned to base, he provided a detailed account of everything he heard and saw. With this information, most people attempted to outwit Blackbeard and capture him, but they weren't successful. Teach kept adding ships and sloops to his flotilla. One fateful day, a ship bound for London carrying a group of prominent Charlestown citizens was captured by the Blackbeard crew, and one of these citizens is Samuel Wragg, a prominent, well-known and respected personnel from the Council of South Carolina. Teach informed the prisoners that his crew required medical supplies from the South Carolina colonial government. If the government did not respond, their heads would be sent as a warning to never disobey Blackbeard's orders. This message was delivered to the government, and the medicine was sent and the people were released a few days later. On June 10, 1718, the Queen Anne's Revenge and another sloop ship controlled by Blackbeard's assistant, Israel Hands, got damaged beyond repair, leaving only a few ships and sloops to themselves. A royal pardon fell on Blackbeard's ears, and the pardon was extended to all pirates who surrendered before or on September 5, 1718. Blackbeard was thinking about surrendering, but he couldn't trust the governor Charles Eden, so he waited for another pirate to surrender him. This pirate was Bonnet, who sailed in a small boat to Bathtown, where he requested to be pardoned by the governor. After being granted pardon, Bonnet sailed back to Beaufort Inlet to retrieve his vessel and crew, only to discover that Teach had already taken the vessel's valuables. Bonnet and his crew resumed piracy and were apprehended on September the 27th at the mouth of the Cape Fear River. 4 of his crew members were tried and executed in Charlestown. Teach sailed to Bath later to retrieve his pardon. Governor Charles pardoned him, and he settled on the eastern side of Bath Creek, near the governor's home. According to some accounts, Teach married the daughter of a local plantation owner. However, there is no documentation to support this. The governor later granted Teach permission to sail to St. Thomas to seek permission as a privateer, where he was given an official title and renamed his remaining sloop Adventure. Teach, on the other hand, had piracy running through his veins and couldn't stop himself from capturing vessels laden with valuables. Teach had returned to piracy by the end of August, and the governor of Pennsylvania immediately issued an arrest warrant for him. Teach's favorite anchorage was Ocracoke Inlet. There he saw the approaching ship of Charles Vane, another pirate despised by the government. They formed alliances, and the governor of Pennsylvania was concerned about this unexpected pirate friendship. He immediately sent out 2 sloops to capture both pirates, but they were unsuccessful. The governor of Virginia, Alexander Spotswood, was confident that he was the one who could really stop the operation of Blackbeard. He issued a proclamation requiring all pirates to make themselves known to authorities, lay down their arms, and travel in groups of no more than 3. Spotswood obtained information on Teach's location and even funded the operation to apprehend him. The Virginia Assembly also placed a bounty on Teach's head. Maynard assumed command of the 2 armed sloops that set sail for Teach. On the evening of November the 21st, he discovered the pirates settled on the inner side of Ocracoke Island. Teach, on the other hand, was busy entertaining guests and had no way of knowing he was being attacked. Maynard and his small crew entered the channel at daybreak, but were immediately spotted by Blackbeard's crew, and both captains exchanged fire. Approximately 29 of Maynard's men were killed during the firing, and both ships collided, resulting in close contact fighting between both parties. Maynard and Blackbeard were fighting one-on-one. They exchanged shots and drew swords in an attempt to kill each other. Maynard's crew, on the other hand, was able to separate Blackbeard's crew from the fight between the 2 captains. In an attempt to finally end Maynard's life, Blackbeard charged towards him, but was slashed in the throat by one of Maynard's men. He fell to the floor, and this was the chance to finally put an end to Blackbeard, who had notoriously operated and hijacked ships in the Caribbean and Atlantic. According to reports, Blackbeard was shot 5 times and had approximately 20 cuts. Returning to Virginia, Teach's head was placed on a pole for years to serve as a warning to other pirates who had refused to surrender. This is the tragic end to the great Blackbeard. It's fascinating how he was able to instill fear in the minds of governments and captains in just 15 months. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, bye.